basic information, and we put it on Facebook, heavy on Facebook, and the different environmental groups, and Audubon groups, and planting groups, and native groups. And also, we can tag it up at different outlets like the libraries and places like that. And then the third area is speaker communication and assistance. When the speaker comes, we like to greet them. We like to arrange for them to have their audio-visual equipment set up properly. And we set them up with Dave right now. He's our AV guy. And then we have water for them and give them a thank you note and give them a little gift card. So if you can help with any of those things, it's greatly apprecited. This is staff in the back. Don.
My name is Maureen Maya, and I'm a snowbird from Canada, and I've only been here for about 2 years, very, very part-time. And last year on a walk, Linda asked if I would be willing to help create field trips for this organization. And, well, wait, no, that's not what she did. She asked me if I would like to do publicity for this organization. I thought, oh, that's easy. People will write up what they want to be placed in newspapers, and I can type that up in Canada and send that in. And then Linda said, be careful what you're talking to. And then Linda said, you know, the person who used to do this also created field trips for us to go on. Would you like to do that? Okay, let's give it a try. So, the reason why I'm here standing in front of you is, as I said, I'm a snowbird, and I really do not know my way around. But luckily, many people on the board have given me ideas of places that we can go on field trips. And if you've been following us on Facebook and if you've been seeing our publicity in 5 locations now, the South Venice Beachway, Boca Beacon, Englewood Review, the Water Mine, and Florida Weekly. If you've been following any of those, you have seen that we are very, very active. And I am very, very busy writing all of this up. So what I'm asking is, if you are willing to lead a field trip, a hike for us, if you'd like to be a guide, please let me know so that we can create a walk. If you are available to go on these walks when I'm not, or even if I am, I need someone to take attendance so that we have records of who was there. Also, a location, some new places that we have not been to either ever or recently. If you can point me in the right direction, give me a place that I can, a starting point. And then I'm happy to do the research, rather you do it, but I really appreciate that. And also, here's an easy one, photographer on a field trip. Very easy, bring your cell phone along. And also, this is not my department, this is not my job description anymore, but it could be. We would like to ask our members to open up their gardens for us to tour. So if you have a garden that you're willing to have visitors not trample through, we would like to coordinate with you and create an opportunity for all of us to enjoy it. Thank you. Okay. Pardon? You want to go?
That is, okay. I'm Bobby, I'm going to talk a little bit later too, but let me change things here. Yeah, let's see, I am grant chair and outreach chair and education chair. So, anything, any of those above or whatever.
Here's your paper.
That's what I think, no? Know what the heck I'm doing. Okay, grants we're going to talk about today, of course. Grants, I'm the grant chair. Anybody that applies for a grant, it comes to me. Well, sometimes it goes to our website first. The website sends it to me. I check it over and make sure everything is correct. If it is, I send it to a committee, okay? If you'd like to be on the grant committee, you would get this. let's look at it, and you go, oh yeah, that sounds really cool, we should do that with them, you know? So you send it back and say, yeah, that sounds good. So then I send it to them, and we set up a site visit. And that's what's kind of fun, really. Because I try to get 2 people at least from the grant committee, and this could be anywhere in
This
the
is from Lori.
Florida,
I did, but I don't
or
have the receipt
Charlotte
with
to
me.
Venice to Inglewood, so that's a location. And I try to find somebody in our committee that lives near that. I don't like to send somebody from Venice to come to Florida to do this, you know? So then 2 or 3 people go to the site, meet with the applicant. They show you the location of where they want to do it and all that kind of stuff. They give you a plant list, okay? In which case you can say, Nick, that's not native, you're not getting that. And you can make give them ideas or whatever. That's the fun part, really, meeting people and talking to them, okay? So then you come back, you have, if everything looks good there, you tentatively approve it, and I send it, and I take care of it pretty much for that. So all you gotta do is look at the original one, say, yeah, that looks okay, and hopefully be able to help us at a site visit. That is working with the grants, okay? Outreach, we have 2 different things here. One is programs, which is already, I think, been discussed. But outreach, that means outside things. Somebody wants to have a speaker. You know, the garden club calls and says, I need a speaker to come and talk to our meeting, okay? People get really sick of seeing me, you know? You gotta have other people involved. So we do, we have a couple of people, one Jane talks about birds and the importance of having native plants for the wildlife. So there's different topics you can talk about, as long as, of course, they deal with native plants. So we're looking for people who might be interested in going to some of these meetings with people and being their presenter. You take all the literature and you pass it on. You've been in enough meetings, you know how that works. Okay. Another thing that's fun, we go to events. Lemon Bay, what was it, Alligator Creek Festival this year. Really fun. You have a table, we have a big tent, and you have literature, and people come around and talk to us. And they can sign up, they can do this, you know, so give them literature, and they ask about plants, and you tell them, you have books, you can show them pictures. So that's kind of fun. You get to meet people again and talk to them, okay? What else do I do? Grants and outreach. I think that's it. I'd like to see somebody create some canned programs, because a lot of people may want to go to be a speaker, be the presenter at a meeting, but they don't know what they're going to talk about, you know? So if we had some programs already prepared, you know, a PowerPoint presentation, we could just say, here, take this, and go to the presentation, and say, there, everything, all the pictures, so to speak, which is already set up. So if anybody's interested in setting up something like that, I think that's something that would be very useful. So, that's it for me. Anybody else? And this is my signage, you guess we're orange today.
Thank you. Very bottom of that one, Father.
Oh, you're at the bottom of this one?
Yes.
Dave is on the bottom of this one.
So,
This is brief. I have the yellow one because it's the kinds of things that I needed help with. Setting up the room ahead of time for the meeting. My husband Dave and I spent 3 hours here yesterday afternoon setting up this room, and gosh, it would sure be nice to have somebody else do that. Raffle tickets and raffle items at meetings. Joan does this all by herself when she's not doing hospitality. And by the way, we have coffee, hot chocolate, and cookies today. So don't get out of here without some of your favorite goodies over there. But raffle tickets and raffle items. People bring in plants and they bring in seedlings and cuttings and stuff. And when Joan is trying to get people signed in at the hospitality book, we get credit from state for everybody that we have sign up. She has a hard time telling them, well, put your raffle items here, you know, and be sure to get a raffle ticket. So somebody to help at the back table would help. Taking photos for Facebook at walks and events. Right now, we finally have gotten a few people to help with that, but for the most part, I take pictures at all our walks and I put them on Facebook. And that's another thing that takes a lot of my time when I actually have, you know, a little organization right here. Name tags at meetings, that's another thing back there. But they all need to be arranged in alphabetical order. And it's just, you know, it's once a month, putting the name tags in order. Help with that would be nice. And we need somebody to help with the newsletter. You do not have to write the newsletter. What we need help with is layout. We have a format that is purchased that we've used for a few years now, and we just need somebody who is familiar with layout and can make it look nice. You know, we can put in verbiage, but it's not going to look as nice as it has been. So if you know anything about layout, please volunteer for that. And this is yellow. And now, Ava has some things to say. Wait till you need a cookie or going.
So I'll say something while Ava's swallowing. I'm Linda Wilson, I'm the treasurer. I have been with this chapter since I believe like 1990. President, vice president, treasurer, secretary, blah, 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 blah. I dearly love what we do, which is hopefully protecting some of the real Florida. I've rewilded my yard. I hope to be on the tour that they just talked about. I just got here, so if I'm duplicating info, I'm sorry about that. And I don't mean to be a downer, but I am a downer, really and truly. We are in desperate need of help here, or this chapter may not survive. Truly. I'm not saying jump up, oh, I'll be president, jump up, I'll be treasurer. But I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm tired. I'm going to stay one more year and I'm out. I think some of the other people here are feeling the same way because we're tired. So if this chapter is important to you, and I'm shaking because it really upsets me to even think I would say this chapter may implode. We have money. We have wonderful people who come. We have wonderful people who care. But if you don't step up, it's not going to happen. Treasurer, I'm not a math person. You asked me to divide, I'm getting my pen and pencil. You don't need to be an accountant to be a treasurer. It's very basic. We don't have thousands of dollars. We have, I think, beside the grants, we have like $5,000. So we have money to do projects, but we don't have enough that we have to have an accountant and do audits and that. I mean, some like Audubon in Venice has a huge amount of money. So they need to do a lot more things than we do. I spend a couple hours a month. Now, granted, I know what I'm doing at this point, but it's really not hard. I'm not moving away. If you want to do treasurer, I will be here to help you. And I plan on staying with the chapter when I retire, but I also retire with several other groups in the community, and I'm trying to get out of them too, but you know, hey. Please, I know this, from just hearing everybody, to me it sounds like, oh my God, I can't do this, it's too much. But really, if you like Ruth, where the hell is Ruth? She's probably out with the plants. If you have an affinity with Ruth, go talk to Ruth. What can I do to help you? If you like Dave, what can I do to help you? It doesn't mean you're going to be on a committee. It doesn't mean you have to show up at board meetings. It doesn't mean that we want hours and hours of your time. But truly, I can't stress enough how stressed out I have been, and I'm really a treasurer. If we implode, my job's gone, so hey, I'll be happy. But I don't really want that to happen. And I don't want to get into politics, but the way the world is now, we need native plants more than ever. I'm gonna start crying, I cry every day. Questions, comments? Laura over there does great job for the board, she could use help. Ruth, I mean, if everyone did a little bit, it really could make this able to continue, honestly. Linda Wilson, if you have any questions, come see me. Thank you.
Before I talk about my orange sheet here, everybody has one of these right in front of them. We were just looking at them. Laura put this together for us. This is our last year over the season in review, and you can see everything that we've done. The number of members, number of meetings, guided walks, and it's a completely member-driven organization. And I'm brand new myself here, Ava Lassiter, and I've taken on a sub-outreach position, helping Bobby, and we're working with a local high school, coordinating with an environmental club through the high school, Northport High School, organizing some guided walks for them. And so we're listed in here now as well, one partnership with local high school students. And I need help too. And so if you're interested, we have somebody here, also Mike Evans came on our walk, Jerry Munson also came on our last walk, but we need some more people helping. So if you're interested to help with high school youth, if you're not aware, the Mangrove chapter is sponsoring the students of this club for a student membership in the Mangrove chapter. And if in exchange for that sponsorship, they will attend and participate in 3 events that we organize for them. So we're organizing these walks, we may be planning a planting day for them. So it's a lot of fun, it's working with younger generation in the community. We're looking to expand this, we have lots of ideas, we're looking for other ideas too. So any amount of time that you have, talk with any of us who have gotten up and talked already, and we can find a way to slot you in or get your number at least. And Linda is great at getting people to volunteer without quite realizing that they're volunteering. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the cookies.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank all of you chairs. Yes.
Does somebody have a new blue pen that they didn't come with?
Oh, it's amazing.
I think there's an extra pen back there by the yellow. Okay.
She wants her pen back.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice.
Well, yes,
May I talk about this?
certainly.
You know what I want to talk about?
Yes, go ahead.
Come up there.
This is Barb Seibel. She has been doing plant surveys out at Cedar Point for some 11 years now. And COVID aside, she never missed a month.
That's right. I did it all by myself for COVID,
Well,
but we desperately need people to help us. Every month, we go to Cedar Point Park and we walk certain trails and record what is flowering and what is seeding. That's all you have to do. You don't really need to know that. We'll partner you up with somebody that does, and we just walk around and we mark them off on our sheets. So, and I just would like some people to come and enjoy it. It's fun. It really is.
And it's a great way to learn.
It is. That's how I learned my plants.
Where is Cedar King? Where is Cedar King?
No, Cedar Point. It's on the Cedar Road down here.
Across from the high school,
Yeah.
across from Lemon Bay High School,
Yeah.
there's a park called Cedar Point.
Yeah. We have one tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right.
We have to be doing one tomorrow, if anybody is interested.
Okay.
What time should they
What
be?
time?
We start at 9, and you'll probably be done by 10:30.
What days? I'm sorry.
It's just one day. Normally we do them on Tuesday and the third Tuesday and Wednesday or Wednesday in the month. I would do 2 days because some people can't come on one day and some people can't come on the other. But I desperately need people. I don't have enough to cover what we cover now. Thank you.
Barb? Okay. David, you said something about this sheet, right? It's okay. I'm sorry, I must have been distracted. This is what our committee chairs and our volunteers have done this past year. And without more help, we can't possibly do this much again. So, feel free to get up anytime and go back and sign up. I don't care if somebody's presenting, I don't care if I'm talking, I don't care if you're in the middle of your lunch, just go back and sign up on one of those clipboards, because we really need help in order to have you enjoy this type of thing again. We could not do this without all of you who actually come and participate in these things. So, now that it's, I don't know, a little after 1, I think I'll just call a meeting to order. We're just a little bit late here. And, let's see now. Book clearance. We have chapter books that we used to have in the library, and then the place that we had decided they wanted to do something else with the space. So they've been living in my garage for a couple of years. They're not doing anybody any good in my garage. So come on over, find a book you like, drop anything in the donation jar that you like. I don't care if it's a dime. Or if you want to pay us next time because you forgot your money, I don't care. But take a book home that you'll enjoy, that you'll use, that you can share with your neighbors. And I don't want to take them all home again and put it in my garage. So you can do that. Remember the cookies and the coffee? What's next on my personal agenda? Okay. At our last board meeting, we set up a nominating committee. According to our bylaws, we elect officers in January, and we set up a nominating committee at the December board meeting to come up with a slate of candidates. So our nominating committee this year is Ruth Ford, chair. She was in, and Ava Lassiter, who
I just ran around over here.
Okay, who was talking just a minute ago. They are both board members, and Jerry Markison, who is just a general member from the chapter who's not on the board. So their task is to come up with candidates, a slate of candidates for the 3 officers that we elect, which is president, secretary, and treasurer. And they will report back at the January meeting, and we will have an election at that time. So if you have any interest in that, you can write it down on one of the clipboards, or you can email the chapter, which we check the email on that every day, and we can get the information to the nominating committee. Okay, now we have a special guest today. It's Linda Davis. She is executive director of the statewide Florida Native Plant Society. We have 33 chapters across the state, and she has the dubious pleasure of being in charge of all of those. You want to say a few words, Linda?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, my name's Linda. I'm the Executive Director of the Florida Native Plant Society, so that's the statewide organisation. Really happy to be here today, you're quite right, 33 chapters. I fully intend to go around and meet every single chapter. I joined FMPS about just over a year ago, so you're my 11th visit, and I figure if I do one a month, it's going to take me 3 years. I'll loop back round again, but I live in Tampa, so this isn't too far for me. So I'm really love being here, and looking forward to exploring the area a bit more as well, and learning more about your chapter. So for those of you that don't know, FMPS, we've been in existence for over 40 years. We have over 6,000 members across the state, 33 chapters, We're a very complex organisation to run with all the different chapters and moving parts. And we also, at a state level, have our own programs that we're delivering as well. So there are conservation programs, research programs. We work with a lot of research partners on some of the statewide impacts on our native plants and native communities. We do a lot of work in Tallahassee. We have a lobbyist that we work with who goes and represents us in Tallahassee and represents the native plants. In fact, although there are lots of organizations across Florida that do lobby for environmental type policy, ours is the only one that represents plants specifically. So it's really important that our voice is heard, especially at the moment in Tallahassee. So that's really important. FMPS, just again, so you're all aware, we have 3 members of staff, including myself. So we're a very, very small team. We work really hard to try and support all of our members and obviously to encourage as many people as possible to learn about native plants and to get involved. We're very conscious that that's not enough people to support our chapters. You've heard today how much work happens at a chapter level, and what is inspiring to me is that every week across the state there are chapters just like yours that are, you know, run by volunteers that are working hard, have been for a very long time for FMPS and for our native plants. That is so inspiring, and you know, my job is really to grow the organisation, not just for the sake of growing it, but to where we have more money, more resource, more members to make it easier for us to reach more people across the state. So that's my role. I am a kind of an unusual hire for FMPS in that I don't have a science background, I don't have a plant background. My expertise is in running organisations and growing non-profits. Despite my accent, my husband's from Miami. I came to Florida many years ago in the early 90s. I went to USF on exchange. Came back with a husband, which was a whole other story. But you know, I've had a very, very long-term relationship with the state, and you know, love it dearly, and really care about you know, the work that we're all doing and about protecting our natural environment and the importance, particularly at the moment now in Florida, of the work that we're doing. So I'm going to be here throughout the meeting. I'm looking forward to hearing from the presenter as well. And what I would say is, please come talk to me, come find me. If there are ideas that you have, thoughts that you have, comments that you have, we want to hear it. I need to hear those things. I want to help us, you know, improve and do more. We have a lot to get done, but I'm very excited about the future, and really grateful to all of you for, you know, all of your interest in the topics, but also obviously in any of the volunteer work that you've done. So thank you for having me.
It's really an honor to have Linda here. I know we've been trying to get her here for a while, and you know, with COVID and just all the strange things that were going on, we're just delighted that she could be here today. Now it's program time, and it's also a break during which time you can sign up to be a volunteer, or you can get cookies or coffee, or also hot cocoa back there. So, you know, whatever, and in like, you know, 60 seconds or so, we'll have Ruth come up and introduce the program.
Well, I didn't know.
One of the questions I can answer is that that's something that some of us want to volunteer for. I don't care about it.
Is anyone taking minutes? plants?
Well, do you have them? This would be very hard to do.
We have
Oh my gosh. Well, let's start figuring out where would you want to put the grants? Okay. Throughout that area? The thing is, these grants, we don't want to put so any of your grants that 3 acres are not plants, cause problems with grants.
Well, and that's what we're working towards, because supposedly we're putting names in front of the trees, and that was our goal, they should all be. And we took over, it was,
Good for you, you're working on it.
so we're working on it, but I don't think after the hurricane, everything was replaced, and they it's old, and it goes through when they get
Fill out my house, okay? Notice one thing, if you're interested, send me the application sheet, send me a drawing, schematic of what's in here. I'm sure usually it always helps if you when we come into the site, we may look at that list and go, this is that's where we come in. And Cheryl, one of our
We started last year and I was no, I wasn't
so we can help you out. We give you literature and stuff. Here's these plans. So fill out the application, include a drawing of what you're doing. Maybe a so an idea of what do they want? Big ones, little ones, where are you heading? Send that to an
Okay.
Well, I'm sure that
I mean, we got 3 names already.
Are they attached? I take one card at a time. Grant, hopefully, as long as our Japanese here is all taken care of. So Ryan, we've been doing these since 1980. I just really look for my age. 20 years. This guy, Joe Jones. So we plan on having these ones. So you can do one section this year, one section next year. You're allowed to reapply. Okay, so I don't know that everybody would do in the way, actually, I have you're approved, you'll get up to $500. So,
Hi, I'm Tina Babiak. I am volunteering for everything.
Oh, good, thank you.
I've been in garden clubs for 45 years.
Your name?
I've been in garden clubs for 45 years until COVID shut down those things.
send it in, I'll get it, I'll look at it.
So I just been looking for plant people.
Oh, good.
Just because my yard was destroyed by Idelia, now I have a new place to plants, fresh palate, see who survived.
Good. We're also going to be having another, we had a propagation day last week, last Saturday, and we're propagating plants for Plant Native Day. And we're going to have another one right the first week of January. Yes, okay, great. So, I don't have a date yet. Do you have to go on the Facebook page and make a check? Okay, so if you would email me, then I will email you the date of the next propagation day. It's going to be at my house this time, and I live over by Cedar Point Park and across the creek from Oyster Creek Park. So if that would interest you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
This is what I
so
really
email me
want
and then I'll get you the date and the time. That's great.
All my exotics, so
Yeah.
and we don't have pets anymore, so we feed birds and butterflies.
Yeah, good.
On our
Good.
sanctuary. That's a full-time job.
Are you here in Venice or in Englewood?
I'm right on the border of Venice and Englewood. I'm on the mainland by Minnesota Beach.
Okay.
So we're right on the bay.
Okay. All right. Good. I used to live on Minnesota Key, and then we moved down down the street from Ken Parks to a single family.
Okay, so propagation, you may be
Propagation, yeah, and we'll probably be doing divisions from stuff in my yard. Last time, at Kirsten's house last Saturday, we did some seed, and we did cuttings. March 9th is the sale, yeah. So yeah, we're in preparation for that.
I'm a master's artist.
Yeah.
I'm a member of
maybe the sale last year. It was really interesting here. Most of the stuff died though.
Oh no.
Things like bee balm and but the only thing that really survived is the big goldenrod.
Oh, yeah.
That is just beautiful with all the salt. Good. And it's supposed to be a really good pollinator food. Right?
Yeah. Goldenrods are great. Yeah. Well, I hope we can get stocked up again. And
so you may do this
propagation the first week of January. Sometime after the 1st of January. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tina.
Okay, well, we got the information.
For shopping around that volunteer table, I am in awe, I am extremely grateful for everybody that we saw back there. For everything, your coffee, your hot chocolate, whatever you have.
There's plenty of them.
And Ruth is going to introduce the program now, so I'm going to turn this over to her.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out today, and thanks for volunteering for all the different small tasks. Today, we're going to hear from Bobby Rogers. She is our current grant committee chairperson, as well as outreach, and she's done many, many things for the organization. She's been a member here for over a quarter of a century. Woo! I'm not that old!
You're a baby.
She moved to Florida in 1986 for an 11-year career at Oscar Scherer State Park, where she was a park ranger. And then she moved on to be the environmental resource manager with Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center at Cedar Point Park here in Englewood. She conducted biological studies at 8 other Charlotte County properties, as well as creating, scheduling, and conducting educational and resource management activities at Cedar Point Park. Retired since 2020, she enjoys traveling, hiking, reading, and exploring new places and things. Bobby is probably the one who was a liaison between many of us just through her work at CHEC at Cedar Point Park. I know I started volunteering there after I went on walks, some of the walks that they sponsored. And I found out about Native Plant Society, and I found out about Barb's plant inventories over at Cedar Point Park. And it's really made a difference in my activities and my life here, my happiness here. It's nice to be around my people, my tribe that I left back in Illinois. It's been replaced. So please welcome Bobby, and she's gonna share with you some of the grants, and some of the recipients are here also to share their story. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. Okay, sorry, you got me again. My name's Bobby Rogers again. I've been a member of the chapter here since 1997. And during that time, yes, much like Linda Wilson, Willie's, where she's sitting now, I've been president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. Okay? We really need a president right now, and Linda, hold your ears. It's not the hardest job. I think secretary is, because I want to talk at the board meetings and stuff, and you can't talk because you're writing. So I don't know. So, thank you, secretary. Okay? And treasurer isn't hard. You just have to know when to send in reports to the state and stuff, and she has all that information. So anyway, that's me. I am the grant person right now. And the grants began I told somebody earlier that the grants began in 1918. I'm not that old, okay? So that's not correct. In 2018 is when the grants started, okay? We got together a committee of people, we wrote up the bylaws of the grants and figure out how we're gonna do this, how it's gonna work and all that kind of stuff. So the first grants were given out in 2019, okay? So they were always public grants. Public grants are places that are going to be seen by the public. Our idea there is that there will be more bang for the buck. If you have a church or an HOA that has a specific little garden, then people can see it, then that will encourage more people to know about native plants. So we did public grants all these years, and it went over very well. We've done HOAs, we've done churches, we've done cemeteries. And we're going to have a couple of our recipients here to speak in a minute, okay, on that. And so let's see, in 2022, what happened in that year? Ian, okay? Ian, through here. A lot of destruction to homes, of course, and there's nothing we can do about that, but a lot of destruction to landscaping. We said, we can't help with the homeowner that way, but we can help with your landscaping. And if you're going to be replacing your plants, replace them with native plants. So that year only, this past year, we opened it to individuals too. So that would be a private grant. So we still have public grants, and we have 3 groups today that are going to talk about their public grant they were getting, and we have 1 person that had a private grant. So those people are going to give a little synopsis of what happened there. And sometimes, Jeanette, sometimes you have great ideas, and something like that, dang, Florida snow gets in there, okay? So we can all kind of talk about, hopefully, some issues that we've had, some problems we've had, and maybe some ways that people can deal with these problems, whether they have a grant or not, just in their landscaping. So let's see. This past year, we funded 16 grants. 3 of them were public, and 13 were private. We spent a total of $2,705.65. Well, one thing to tell you about. So that was really good. We helped out a lot of people, I think, in this. couple of problems we see. I'm always telling people, go on our website, and if you want to get a public grant, now that is HOA, churches, like I said, something where the public can see it, not your individual yard. Businesses, yes. I have cards here, and this has the website that you can just go right to, pull up the grant application, fill it out. We had like 50 grant applications that came to us. And as I said, 16 were funded. Why the discrepancy here? I'll tell you, they read the protocol. Anybody ever applied for a grant? Anybody? Okay. Do you read the grant and have to like listen to it and do what it says? Okay. It's kind of, so when the grant says, send in the application with a little drawing of what you want to have done, maybe a little plant list, you know. So they just don't do that. So I send it back to them. Could you please do this too? And then you're fine. Or they send me the application, and then they send me a receipt for the plants that they already purchased. Okay? And that ain't it, man. We gotta okay it. It's called approval before you get a grant. So that didn't happen. We got one grant that came in from St. Augustine. Okay? Kind of out of our section here. Okay? So you get the grants, and that's really the hardest part. Is I go, oh, geez, you know. Luckily, 16 were funded, and there are 16 that hopefully have campers around here. So, beginning October 1st, our new grant began. Okay, the grant application is on our website, like I said, and grants run from October 1st to April 30th. You get the grant to me, I send it out. We tentatively approve it, do the site visit. You gotta have the application in by April 30th, okay? Then you have till September 30th to actually do the planting. Ideally, that's because summer brings rain. Okay, ideally, not last year, but ideally that way we can plant things and they'll be all nice and done. But follow the protocol on the website. And this, as I said, is HOA, public gardens, churches, cemeteries, businesses. One key thing, you've got to have the property owner's permission, okay? We actually had to place a nice garden, a butterfly garden at a park. And the site visit, everything worked fine, but they couldn't get approval. It was a county park, okay? And the county said, no, we don't want to take grants from anyone else, just the ones we get. Yeah, that is not. But so we have to cancel that one, unfortunately. So you've got to have their permission. Then again, you don't want to spend, it's up to $500 for a public grant, okay? We don't want to give you $500 to buy plants only to have a month later the owner come in and ripping them all out because they don't want them there. So you've got to have the owner of the property's permission. Okay, there's a place there to sign. So with that, if you have any questions, you can come see me about it. A couple of people have already, so I expect we really need people on this site visit committee because people will come and we're going to get grants. Yes, your question? No, okay, let's have a few people. We have a couple. We have, let's see, one group's from Punta Gorda, two groups from Inglewood, and a private landscape in Venice. So as you see, we're running the gamut here. So first, Joyce Lopek, is that how we pronounce it? PGI Green Thumbs, okay? Great place down there, you gotta go visit it because it's a public area. Sorry, did I use my hands? It's called Serenity Gardens. So you have slides, right?
I have slides.
Okay, so Dave's gonna show some slides. Joyce.
Yes, hi. And I want to introduce my fellow green thumbs back here, Helen Kavanaugh and Peggy Jensen. So if you have questions afterward, any of us could help to answer the questions. So, yep, there you go. And this is to advance the slide, but you have one more. Can you put it in presentation mode? So, in case you don't know,
Is that on the Kia stop?
yes.
Okay.
So PGI stands for Punta Gorda Isles, which is a subsection of the city of Punta Gorda. And we are going to tell you just a brief account of how we turned some blank space into a lovely section of an existing park. Oh, no. Okay, so it's just an overview of our organization. You can go to the next slide. This is what you see at the corner of, we have two sides of the park that are separated by a firehouse. And at the corner, this is what welcomes people for the Nature Park, which is a city-owned park. And we had good cooperation with our city because we had to get permission. And they were hesitant to let a group of volunteers take over such a prominent location. But we were successful in getting that. The group had already had some accomplishments in other parts of the city that gave us credibility. So we're all volunteer and all donation supported nonprofit. Back in 2012 is when the approval was received, and it was literally a blank space. The city had purchased the land using Florida Forever funds, which are used to preserve open space in perpetuity in a natural state, or Florida-friendly state. And so it was developed bit by bit into different islands, beds of plantings for the public to come and walk through with pathways, and a portion of the space is literally left all like old Florida with the sable palms and so forth. So we have been committed, we've committed ourselves to using Florida-friendly landscaping practices. That's not, we have two sides of the park, as I mentioned. One side is all Florida-friendly, and the other side is all native. So we make that distinction. Next slide. So we accomplished this corner property, and then we saw this other property on the other side of the firehouse and said, well, that looks pretty blah. Why don't we expand our reach over to there? And so we got permission to do that, and that's when we said we'll make that one all native. Next slide. But, you know, what do you see there? Next slide. Next. Big blank space. So, okay, how are we going to fill it? And that's, the vision started to take place. The original founder of our organization always had this idea that it could be a gathering place for people to be serene and zen-like. So we had the blank space. We knew we had a vision of what we wanted to accomplish. How do we do that? We had some expertise amongst our volunteers, but and we even had some expertise on native plants. Peggy here agreed as a volunteer to take over what to do in the space, and she started with some native plants. But with the vision of serenity, we had to have a tighter focus on the space because we were trying to convey a feeling for people who were visiting. So, where did it start? I think it started with Helen creating this little hand sketch diagram here, where we had this idea of how we would design the park.
Sorry.
Next slide. And we reached out to the Mangrove chapter of the Florida Native Plant Society because we said, you know, we've got to zoom in on getting the right vision. And I think, Linda, you were the one who replied. I sent a note via your website, and you put us in touch with Ruth, who came on site, and with her background as a landscape architect, she gave us ideas, she gave us plant lists, and then we said, okay, we're bringing this into focus. And we had to first, though, you know, before you can plant, you have to have the bones of the park, the preparation. And part of that was a city requirement, because we had to have paving for a pathway so that it was ADA accessible. And we wanted to have benches so people could relax. And we wanted to have trees around the perimeter, so eventually there would be some shade there, because otherwise we want to come visit a lot of times a year and sit there. So that was fundraising, took up a lot of energy. The city helped us somewhat, but that paving was quite expensive, and it was at a time where costs were going up. So we were like rushing to raise the money, because from the time we thought we had enough money, well, guess what? The price had gone up. So keep going. So we were finally ready to break ground in 2022. Next slide. What did that constitute? Well, we decided if we wanted to have these boulders in the middle, that's where we had to start, so we could build out, because we didn't want to have big trucks bringing boulders driving over our very expensive paved pathway. So the public was very curious at that point, like, why did somebody come and dump all these boulders in the middle of this park? It just looked kind of weird. Excellent. So we had to position it. Fortunately, a local builder was very generous with his backhoe equipment to come and put those boulders into place so that there was a sense of design. We had the pathway paved. We had the wonderful assistance of some young men from our Crossroads Hope Academy to assist us with some of the heavy work, because, you know, there's only so much we volunteers that are of a certain age can handle. And then we were ready, and I should say, Ruth was the one who inspired us to apply for this grant. Because we said, we're not sure where we're gonna get our own money from, and she said, well, our society did give us grants. So we had the site visit there, up in the upper right corner, and so then we were ready to proceed further. And this is, we got the grant, we were able to purchase the plants to complete the design. And one more slide. Thank you. He's curious, dance it one more time. Yeah, these were the plants that we decided on. We have a few other things, because we spent more than $500 on the plants. These are the ones that you guys funded. So thank you. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
who maintains it?
We're an organization, so we have probably around 30 people on our rolls that are volunteers, and we each have assigned duties. We really related to some of the comments that were being made here about finding leadership for our organization, inspiring our volunteers to stay active and involved. So we meet on Friday mornings. I mean, once you're an established volunteer, you can come at your convenience, but we try to encourage people to come on Friday mornings, because then we have a sense of camaraderie, getting together and doing the we're doing the work to keep it looking beautiful, and the community feeds our souls by expressing appreciation through their donations and their comments as they walk their dogs. And we have many groups that come and meet in the park. We have outdoor painters. We have somebody was giving yoga lessons in the park, book clubs, especially during the pandemic. There were people looking for outdoor spaces, and we do have shady areas, and we have picnic tables. So as a matter of fact, if you guys were looking for a field trip destination, we would love to host you. And I know it's somewhat distant, but you can combine it with a visit to the Peace River Botanical and Sculpture Gardens, which is, just a couple miles away from us. And it's a beautiful place, very worthwhile visit if you've never been there. Or also, our Charlotte County gardeners have a demonstration garden nearby that would also probably be very much of interest to you.
Where exactly is this garden?
Punta Gorda Isles, so we're at the corner of Key Esta and Val Harbor Boulevard in Punta Gorda. So I would say we're about a mile off of Route 41, about 2 miles from downtown Punta Gorda.
And it's called Serenity Garden?
It's called the Punta Gorda Nature Park. And the Serenity Garden is one section of the garden. There are other themed beds we have on the west side of the park. We have a butterfly bed, we have an herb bed, we have a rock garden, we have a succulent bed, and so on and so forth.
Could you show your website again?
Check it out. It's pgigreenthumbs.org.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have to put it back in.
It's okay.
pgigreenthumbs.org.
Plural thumbs? Thumbs?
Thumbs.
Okay.
Plural thumbs.
Plural thumbs.
Well, I don't know.
Website is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have to. Okay. Thank you very much.
One thing I forgot to say, that all of the the public grants get a sign.
Oh.
So hopefully you'll find a place and this sticks in there and, so you can stick it.
Yeah,
I think we probably talked about it.
Yeah, we have, we get a lot of questions, so we like,
Excellent.
and as I had shared with you, we, in our newsletter to our members, we definitely promote that we have this grant.
Excellent. Excellent. If any of you live in Punta Gorda, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you for the thumbs up.
The green thumbs up.
And another person, we have 3 here that are public grants. The second one is someone a little bit more local. This is a condominium association in Englewood. They too have a landscape committee. And Linda St. Germain. I think this was a really good idea. Simple, but really, really a good idea. Linda.
I'm Linda St. Germain, and I am chairperson of a group of landscape volunteers at Foxwood Condominiums. We're kind of a diverse group, a few year-rounders, mainly snowbirds, which presents some challenges to our workforce in terms of planning and more so maintaining throughout the hot summer. But after Hurricane Ian, our association was really devastated. We lost more than 300 trees. An entire section flooded from Godfrey Creek. 64 homes were inundated with water. Swales over top. But you know what? It ended up being an opportunity. We didn't have much budget to work with, obviously, because there were a lot of uninsured damages. But the Mangrove chapter provided us with the opportunity to take on a little task that, well, actually it's a large task, but each part of it is little. We have a number of stormwater catch basins, 31 around the development, and each is surrounded by a culvert. Back in the mid-'80s, when the development was built, these were planted with variegated arbicola, and the on-site landscape team over the past almost 30 years, have hedge trimmed them into oblivion. And in fact, you could show of the 2 slides, I'm this one. There are just 2 pictures to show, and there's one labeled unimproved. And so anyway, what we wanted to do was get rid of those for a couple of reasons. Years ago, some of the people before I was on board with landscaping, they thought they were going to revive these old arbicolas by fertilizing them. Not a good idea near the storm drains that go into our ponds and into Godfrey Creek, which flows into Lemon Bay. So we wanted to replace them. This is a look at the lovely bare spots and ugly blight. So we decided that we were going to plant muhly grass. And that created an opportunity as well to educate our association to the concept of native plants, drought resistant. These did not require irrigation resources, and as our irrigation system was down for 6 months, then we had the drought. It was a good time for them to be educated on this, and also at the same time it gave me an opportunity to bring in some people to teach the association about Florida-friendly landscaping and native plants. So with the help of the grant, we were able to replant a number of these stormwater drainage culverts. And so there should be one other picture there. And the response has just been tremendous. When snowbirds came back this year, oh my God, what were these? I thought you were just putting like ugly grass in there. And and so we were able to do nine culverts, and everybody is looking forward to having the whole development done. It's like, gee, I don't have a drain. And so it's just been a really positive experience. And now people in the development are talking about, wow, you don't require water. This is really exciting, and they look good. So it's been a great experience for us all, and we hope to continue next year with plugging away at more of the 31 culverts on site. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Wouldn't see a simple idea just around the drain? Yeah. And they're not fertilizing it anymore and stuff, so it's just a great idea. It's a good idea. Another one, a lot of people may be aware of the location of this one. The Lemon Creek Wildflower Association has Butterfly Garden, and you probably got hit with Ian damage pretty good down there. This is down Placida Road. So we have, let's see, Ann Weaver and Mark Wales with Lemon Bay Conservancy, which has an active volunteer community that's working on their butterfly gardens. Show us your things.
That's the wrong one. That's the right one, Dave. That's the wrong one. Yeah, that's
there's no picture. She doesn't have a PowerPoint.
That's right.
So, I'm a volunteer for Lemon Bay Conservancy, and the place that I work is at Lemon Creek Wildflower Preserve, which is off Placida Road in Charlotte County, and it's a lovely spot. If you haven't been there, I would encourage you to visit. Another volunteer with me is Maura Qualls. She's been with the Conservancy for 15 years and working hard at that garden. The garden is very different from the garden that you saw earlier. It's a butterfly habitat, and it's designed to feature native plants and some Florida-friendly. So what happened to us during Ian was that we had a tremendous amount of damage. And I have 5 photos with me that I'm going to explain and then pass out. So you can, I'll start them here and they'll go right down and everybody can look at them close up. And they all have a caption. So this was our damage from Ian. We had styrofoam and aluminum, thousands and thousands of pieces that flew across the street from the local mobile home community. And we spent many, many months picking that up. One of the areas of the butterfly habitat that was damaged was a meadow area that was in full sun. And really almost nothing was left but weeds. So we applied for a grant to replace, to put plants into that area. And our board supplemented that grant with some money. So we were able to spend $300 at Sweet Bay and get a terrific group of plants. So I'm going to start this one around if you just want to send it that way. That shows you some of the damage. We have just a few volunteers that show up every week, and we spend 2 hours working in the garden from 8 to 10 on Thursday mornings. So if anybody is interested in some hands-on volunteer activity, come and join us, you'll love it. The garden is very natural. There's lots of salvia, there's kuntis, there are many plants that you will recognize, and so what we did was we made a plan. This was the plan that I submitted with the grant application, passed that along, and we made suggestions as to the plants that we wanted to purchase. I'm also going to pass out, this is a map of the preserve, and if you haven't been there, it's 85 acres, and it was a former golf course, which was allowed to go native. And then the Conservancy came in and purchased it in 2010. And they had to take out a lot of Brazilian pepper and other invasives. And now it's a wonderful example of Florida natural landscaping. There are many trails, as you can see, and there are many lakes. There are some gators, and we have a lot of birds and butterflies all year. So I also brought along this pamphlet, which is butterflies on one side, native plants on the other. I have a bunch of these. They're over there with the books, and there'll be some right here on the end of the table. So if you don't have one of these, please pick one up. So, do that. So, some of our volunteers doing work at the garden. You can see what the garden looks like. It's very natural looking. It's not a manicured garden. So we are on our hands and knees. We're pulling weeds and we're planting. The way we started, because after Ian, of course, a lot of grass grew, so we had to get rid of the grass. So we took cardboard and we put it down and left it there for a couple of months, and it worked really well. We picked it up and there was a great spot for planting. So we were able to buy our plants in July, and we planted them then because we wanted to take advantage of the rainy season. Unfortunately, it didn't rain, so we all spent many hours going over there and hand watering as we have no irrigation. So all of these plants have to be able to make it to the point where they don't require irrigation, which we're almost there, I think. We're kind of on pins and needles. Is it going to rain this week? Or is it not going to rain, and do we have to go over and use our rain barrels? So this is our list of plants right here. I'll start that here. And you'll see many of the favorites that you know. Almost everything is doing well now. We're having a little trouble with the cone flowers. They're very temperamental here. I don't know if you had good luck with them. I hope so, because we're not really having such good luck. But everything else is doing fine. It's kind of in the fall stage now. So everything is kind of spent. And we're in the process of just making sure we clear around each group of plants. We got 3 of everything and 6 kuntis. So the area is small compared to the whole butterfly habitat, but it really is coming along very well. And we have pollinators all the time. We also have bee houses that have been constructed by our volunteers, and we see bees going in and out, which is really wonderful. This is the last photo, just showing some of the work in the garden and some of the things that we do. So, any questions?
Yes.
Over here.
Yes.
I've been to this, it's been a couple of years ago when you were creating the plateaus and a different thing. But I wasn't aware it was open to the public.
Well, we have walks there. In fact, there's a walk this Thursday in the Butterfly Garden at 9 o'clock. And there are walks all through the winter season, several usually every week. So you can read about them on Lemon Bay Conservancy's website. And you can also see nature walks in the Englewood Review has a lot of information too. So you can always find walks. You can always go to the preserve with a member. If you join, which we would love to have you do, you can go anytime. We don't allow dogs. There's no fishing and no bicycles. And it's just a great place to have walks. We do birding walks all the time. And our butterfly walks are on the second Thursday of the month at 9 o'clock. And our communications director, Tanya Bramlage, is sitting right over there. And perhaps she'd like to tell us how else you can find out about the walks if I missed something. So, anybody else have a question? Okay, thank you so much.
We give that a sign. Tanya, do you have one to say about the walk?
Walks are always listed open and available to the public. We do private tours at Lemon Bay Conservancy. So if your group is interested in coming out to do a guided tour, for example, if you want to come out to Habitat and see the work that Maura and Anne have done, we'd be happy to organize a specialized field trip for you or for your group. You can reach out directly to me through the website, which is lemonbayconservancy.org.
So, good questions. They do have public, open to the public on their own walk.
That's an amazing butterfly.
So, like I said, a public grant does have to be open to the public. As we continue to pass those around, that's the 3 of our public grants that we've done. We did a lot more, obviously, we've done 16 too. But last we have a homeowner, okay, and Jeanette's done, she wanted perennial peanuts, and then that wasn't really native. Then you put in frog food, bought frog food, put it in, and it didn't rain. It got hot. It was a horror. But she's plugging away and doing a great job. Jeanette,
Very successfully and okay, so I call this my frog fruit saga. So this is frog fruit up here, and it has these lots of lovely little white flowers, and it attracts the buckeye butterfly, and I thought that would be rather pretty. Lots of people put in mimosa, and I like that too, but I'd also seen how it got taken over by grass, so I thought, well, maybe I'll try frog fruit, maybe I'll have more success. So anyway, I wanted to show you that, so can you have the first slide? So this group inspired, and by the way, I'm a new member, I've only been here 1 year, so it was really awesome that this group was able to inspire me to try and contribute to the planet. So here I am. With Bobby's help, this is one section of my lawn. And yes, after Ian, we lost a lot of trees. A lot of trees were on the ground, and I lost my lemon tree, which was wonderful. But we had just bare patches in the grass here. It just looked awful, which so many lawns do. So here I am spraying with the vinegar and the salt and a little soap to just keep it on there, and I did that. So let me read this. So this was my project. My husband Barry wanted nothing to do with it. He wrote the landscape note. You know how this is going to go, right? Okay. So the area chosen was about 15 by 30 feet. It has a young, go to another slide maybe, had a young mango tree on it and a large bougainvillea shrub. I know that's not Florida, but it was already there. So, and a friend told me that one single mimosa had spread all over her lawn without any extra effort. So I thought, this can't be so bad. Okay, so in order to take advantage of the rainy season and give the plants I intended to buy a good start. I began the weed killing process. Of course, I did it 3 times. I was conscientiously spraying with the vinegar, the salt. Over 2 weeks, nothing was dying. So me and my husband purchased black plastic, laid it all down with blocks of concrete in order to deny any light to those weeds. And those weeds were mostly Augustine grass, courtesy of the neighbor next door, and torpedo grass. It was awful. And then, of course, then we saw a few of the invasive. You can see right up here, this was the condition of the grass. It was really awful. And that was the neighbor's. So theirs was invading my place. And the previous neighbor had put Augustine grass down. So then after another 2 weeks, we weren't still having any luck. You know, you pulled all this black plastic up and there was still, oops, not quite, there was still lots of weeds. So then we purchased a tiller. And he tilled up and down and across and everywhere. We went from there to the Bougainvillea, which is right here at this point. And I did that. So I raked, I pulled any remaining clumps of weed, and there was many, and it was so hot. So we initially bought 40 plants. They told me put them every 18 inches, so I kind of calculated it. I should have bought double that quantity to start with. Barry, my husband, dug the holes, I planted, and then I spread, well, he purchased 2 and eventually bought 3 large bales of pine straw. So we spread that around each of the plants, and then I put malacca around that because the pine straw would blow away like tumbleweeds. And at the same time, as you can see here, these paving stones, we decided to go from the driveway to the backyard. There's a fence there, you may see it. My husband put those paving stones down. This is the one to do, what are you going to do with it? But he was taking pity on me. And rainy season, of course, was nowhere in sight. So I watered most days in order to get the plants a good start, and I do not have, at this time, irrigation system. I was dragging a hose and paying for city water, which is kind of like against the whole philosophy of what I was trying to do. My back was hurting, I needed a break. Barry tilled the remaining portion, that was this down here. You can flip to another one thing. And I planted 10 more perennial peanuts this time, and 9 other ground covers with flowers, not the great spreaders, but I just wanted to get something in the ground. So here we are. You can see where that's going. So in between time, I went to Ohio, I went to England. Barry stayed home, watered the frog fruit because again, no rain. And then I discovered the last plants that I had put in were not growing, but the weeds had taken off in style, of course. So I weeded that section, bought another pallet of 18 frog fruit, planted those. And I managed to save 1 peanut plant. Again, we left for Ohio, again, you know how this is. And a friendly neighbor watered most days, no rain. We returned to Florida, and the snowflowers, or the Florida snow, were growing very well. And my initial frog fruit was thick and trying not to be overrun. So this lot did pretty well initially. So then Barry ran our electric lawnmower over the whole lot to keep the weeds at bay until I could weed them after a back surgery. So I weeded out the Florida snow before I started, per Bobby's recommendation, at least some of it. The second time I went out to weed, I pulled a muscle or ligament in my groin and had severe pain. Had to walk with a walker because weed. So a month later, I was still in physical therapy. The frog fruit was still fighting the Florida snow. So the little rain we had was welcome, but the mouth of Venice, I live in Venice, is reported to be 20 inches below normal. And so I've been watering it. So anyway, I know a lot more, there's an addendum to this. I know a lot more about how to grow frog fruit, what to do and what not to do, but you can't control the lack of rain and fighting the Augustine grass. It's a great plant and it has lots of potential. So I wrote this the other day. So now I know that when you, I know, I've learned about the Florida snow. I know that the pollinators like it too. I've had lots of wasps and butterflies attracted to the Florida snow, so I'm not feeling quite so negative about it. I've also learned that if you want to grow frog fruit, you should not disturb the soil too much. Just sort of make a little space and put the plant in. You don't have to weed it and dig it and till it and all the other stuff. You just need to make sure it's watered effectively to get it to start to grow. And since then, I've had a rainbird system put in, mostly to water my mango tree, which is right here. And because it was so time consuming every day just about getting it. I do have 3 rain barrels, but hand water and all that lot was just too much. So I have a rainbird system in now, and I have a lot more frog fruit starts. So where the rainbird was put in 3 different areas, I will still have to use the rain barrels. It's disturbed the grass. So I'm going to put my frog fruit in there, put little fences around it, get it growing, and hopefully, if I live long enough, my yard will be covered in frog fruit one day, and I'll have no more grass. So I'm just not fighting the Florida snow right now. It is coming out easy. Underneath all the Florida snow is the frog fruit. So now I'm a little divided. Should I call it Florida snow or not? Anyway, here it is. You can see it. There it's growing. There, you want to do a few more of those. And here it is overgrowing the path. I have to trim this back now. Okay, keep going. And now you can see from the road. So it's still a little bit bare here. Not because this was the later part. But it's growing anyway.
And I think Jeanette needs an award in So apply for a grant if you're a public entity. If you can figure out what to do with Florida snow. Yeah. It's everywhere. I want to thank all of our guests today for coming and giving us an update and a little information about those particular grants, and hopefully we'll get some more, and hopefully we'll get some volunteers. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. That's the end of our meeting. I want to thank all of you for coming. It is just absolutely wonderful to see this room filled. I can't tell you how gratifying that is. We still have, I'm sure, coffee and cookies. There are still some books there that need to find new homes. I really don't want to take you back to my garage. And if you haven't had a chance to sign up to be a volunteer, find something that you can help with. So thank you all for coming, and we'll adjourn the meeting.
Bobby, can I ask you a question? I'm from Florida, from the Park.
Yes.
We've been doing restoration also. We lost, like everybody else, we lost but we're trying to get into the planting phase. We have, I started out with just growing volunteers. I own the project. I've been able to cobble up a couple of really good volunteers. But we're just like that.
Can't you get city people to come and help you with the design pepper? No.
Well, no, they've been just so inundated. They can't get within there even to take down. So we did it. It was all volunteer. All 21 But anyway, I have Sarah Weber from walking the street. I'm a transplant. I've been here a master gardener from up north. So
Do you leave? Or you just
not really around. In fact, I talked to and I think I do a year's essay trying to go into And I've just been so busy because like I'm pretty much the only like volunteer there. But now I'm starting to coordinate this area.
Some people are starting to come back now too.
We're starting to come back, yeah. And we got kind of the down and dirty work done. So hopefully I do have a couple of
I heard you're in this.
help plan, which is good if I can get the work done. But I just question for the next step. I do want to apply for grants, for material. And whatever we can get would be great. And Jim actually have other kinds of ideas. So 9.
So 9. Yeah, exactly.
But would you recommend with that program that they have Ruth? I mean, that's probably down the street. Ruth came in from
Ruth May.
Do they do stuff like that? Because like
we don't usually do consulting.
Okay.
Considered consulting.
Okay.
Although that said, as a chapter, so many people ask us, can you come and look at our homeowners and organization? And we kind of say, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
That said, sometimes people from the chapter will like it.
Okay.
So we could talk to them.
Okay. Now, who's that? Ruth. Okay, Ruth. Okay. I wanted to see, like, who's out there who might, I mean,
She's a landscape architect. Her job, her degree is from
in Florida?
No, in Chicago, but still. She's got knowledge.
I mean, I learned a lot. I used to do some plans up north, just small, like perennial gardens and stuff, but that's there forever. But so I kind of have an idea, and so I'm starting to lay out the garden beds. We still have the bones of like the
How much land do you have? I've been there walking and stuff.
Well, the whole park. I have all kinds of different garden beds.
There's certain sections.
Yeah, I have the butterfly. Actually, Joyce does the succulent bed in there, which is perfect. That like is good. But like the whole front, talking about the grass, we have some local grass up there. I want it all to come out. I want to do. Yeah, it just gets all. I'm going all native. And Jim said you do need some Florida friendly for the pollinators and stuff during our winter season. But anyway, so I'll look online. I think I will take a grant application. I knew it wasn't until October. I was kind of waiting for that. So you recommend doing that first, like apply for the grant?
Apply for it. If you have a big area,
should I
pick a spot?
Okay. Like if it was the butterfly garden, or if it was
I would pick it because it's just so much easier to work on a spot. And hopefully, as long as our chapel sticks on and Sullivan will be another piece of butterfly. But as long as we're still solvent, we're going to do one of these every year. So if you've got a section done now this year, apply again next year. You can do it every year. You know, and get a different section. It just makes it easy.
So focus on a section.
So get the application.
Okay. Whoops.